In the far future, many alien species lived together in the galaxy. They built a large space station called Unity Ring, where leaders from different planets met for peace talks. It was a place where war was not allowed. Everyone came to talk, share ideas, and solve problems. One day, a new species arrived. They were called the Valeri. Their people had soft blue skin and glowing white eyes. They were quiet and kept to themselves. Their leader did not come to the meeting. Instead, they sent someone else. A young princess named Nyla. Nyla was not like others. She was blind and could not walk without help. Her legs were weak, and she needed a hover chair to move. The Valeri treated her like a shameful secret. They brought her in quietly and left her in a small room, far from the main halls. No one was told who she was. No one visited her. Most of the other species thought she was useless. Some even laughed when they heard the Valeri sent a disabled princess. They believed she had no power and no voice, so they ignored her. But there was one human named Alex Monroe. He was not rich or famous. He was just a translator who worked at the station. His job was to help aliens and humans understand each other. Alex was kind and curious. When he heard that a Valeri guest was left alone, he decided to visit her. Alex knocked on the door and stepped inside. The room was dark and quiet. Nyla sat near the window, facing the stars. Her long silver hair floated slightly in the air. She did not turn to look at him. "Hello," Alex said. "I hope I'm not bothering you." "No," she said in a soft voice. "You are the first person to speak to me in days." He walked closer and sat on a small bench near her. "I'm Alex. I work here. Wanted to say welcome." "You are not like the others," she said. "They fear what they do not understand." Alex looked at her face. Though she could not see, her eyes held something strange. It was as if she could feel what he was thinking. "Why did they send you here?" he asked. "Because I hear what others cannot. I feel emotions. I sense truth and fear, even in silence. My people do not believe in my gift. They think I am broken." Alex was quiet for a moment. "You don't sound broken?" A small smile touched her lips. "You are kind. That is rare here." From that day, Alex visited her often, brought her books and music. They talked for hours about the stars, about Earth, and about the Valeri. Nyla shared stories in her own way. She described her homeworld through smells, sounds, and feelings. It was different from how most saw the world, but it was beautiful. The guards began to notice Alex visiting her. They warned him to stay away, but he did not listen. He felt that Nyla was special. She had a calmness that made him feel safe. Her voice stayed in his thoughts even after he left. Nyla began to look forward to his visits. She said she could feel his presence before he entered the room. She knew when he was near. She called it a bright feeling in the darkness. One evening, as they talked about music, Nyla asked, "Why do you come back each day?" Alex smiled. "Because you listen, because you care. Most people speak, but never hear. You hear everything." She touched her chest lightly. "Then you understand. Even without eyes, I see more than they do." Their bond grew stronger with each visit. Alex brought her news from the summit. Nyla shared her thoughts about the different species. She could feel when someone was lying or angry just from the air around them. Alex started to believe she could help. She was more than what people thought. She was not weak. She was strong in a different way. The stars outside shined brighter that night. And deep in the heart of the Unity Ring, a connection began to grow. It was something powerful, something true, and it would soon change everything. Days passed slowly in the Unity Ring. The Peace Summit continued, with leaders from many worlds giving long speeches. But in the small, quiet room where the Valeri princess stayed, something different was happening. Nyla and Alex were becoming close. They shared stories, asked questions, and listened to each other. While the rest of the station stayed busy, Nyla was still kept out of sight. Her people left her with only a helper drone and simple meals. The guards outside her door changed shifts, but they never looked her in the eyes. She was treated like a shadow, like someone who didn't matter. Alex noticed this. He started bringing her food from the human section of the station. Real meals, warm and full of taste. Nyla had never eaten Earth food before. The spices, the smells, and the flavors were new to her. She smiled when she tasted cinnamon for the first time. She said it made her think of stars falling gently in the night. Alex also brought small things to make her feel more comfortable. A soft blanket, a music player, a plant that grew little yellow flowers. Nyla touched its leaves and said she could feel the life inside it. Each day, she waited for Alex to come. When he entered the room, she always turned her head slightly, as if she could see him. She would greet him by name, even before he spoke. He didn't understand how she did it, but it didn't scare him. It felt natural. They talked about many things. One time Alex asked her about her home. "My world is full of sound," she said. "The trees sing in the wind. The rivers hum softly. Even the stones hold memory. We do not look with eyes. We listen with our hearts." Alex was quiet, tried to imagine such a place. "Do you miss it?" he asked. "Yes," she said, "but I feel a piece of it here. When you speak, your voice carries feeling. It reminds me of home." He felt strange when she said that, not in a bad way, but like something inside him shifted. Her words reached places no one else ever touched. Outside her room, rumors began to spread. Some officers whispered that Alex was wasting his time. Others said it was not right for a human to be so close to a Valeri, but Alex didn't care. He knew Nyla was more than what people saw. She was wise, kind, strong in a quiet way. One day, as they sat near the window, Nyla became still. Her fingers tightened around the edge of her chair. Alex noticed her breathing change. "What is it?" he asked. "Something is wrong," she said. "I feel anger nearby, hidden and sharp." Alex looked around, but there was nothing strange. "Where?" he asked. "Below us? Far, but growing?" Like a storm waiting to break, he believed her. She had never been wrong about feelings. Her senses were deeper than sight. He stood up and promised to check. Later that evening, he spoke to a friend who worked in the security team. The man said nothing was wrong. Everything was normal. But Alex could not rest. Nyla's warning stayed in his mind. The next day, he brought a map of the station and asked her to point where the feeling was strongest. She ran her hand over the map slowly, then stopped near the lower cargo bay. Alex knew that area was not in use. It had been closed for repairs, decided to go there himself, told Nyla he would be careful, and promised to return. She touched his hand and said, "Truth will guide you. Do not let fear take hold." Alex left her room and made his way through the quiet halls. The cargo bay was dark and cold. As he walked inside, he felt a chill down his back. Something was there, something hidden. Back in her room, Nyla sat alone. Her hands rested on her lap, but her mind reached out. She followed Alex through the silence. She felt his worry, his courage, his hope. It connected her to him. In that moment, they were not just two beings from different worlds. There was something more, something rare. Outside, the summit went on. The leaders spoke of peace, but danger was moving in the shadows. And only one human and one forgotten princess could feel it coming. Their bond had just begun, but already it was strong enough to change fate. Alex moved through the dark halls of the cargo bay. The lights were low, and only a few flickered on. He kept quiet as he stepped over cables and empty crates. His heart beat fast, but he remembered what Nyla told him. Do not let fear take hold. He reached the far wall of the bay. There was a locked door with a warning sign. It said the room was under repair. But Alex saw marks on the floor. Heavy boots had walked here recently. The dust was disturbed. He listened. At first he heard nothing. Then he caught a low sound. A quiet hum, like something powering up. It came from behind the locked door. Alex looked around. He found a small panel and opened it. He used his access card to override the lock. The door opened with a slow hiss. Inside, the room was full of strange equipment. Wires ran across the floor. Boxes of tools and parts were stacked in corners. In the middle of the room was a metal case with blinking lights. Alex walked closer. The hum grew louder. He opened the case. Inside was a round device with red lights around the edges. It was counting down. It was a bomb. He stepped back, shocked. The device was real. Nyla had been right. Alex took a picture with his wrist device and closed the case. He left the room and locked it again. Then he ran through the halls, heading for security. When he reached the office, he showed the guards the picture. At first, they laughed and told him it was a mistake. But when they saw the countdown, their faces changed. The head of security, A tall woman named Captain Lane looked at Alex with sharp eyes. "Where did you find this?" she asked. "Cargo bay." "Section 12, he said. "Nyla told me something was wrong there. The Valeri princess?" she asked with doubt. "Yes, she sensed it. I checked. She was right." Then she ordered her team to move. "Get the bomb squad. Seal off Section 12. Bring the Valeri guest here," she said. Minutes later, the bomb was disabled by experts. They said it was powerful enough to destroy a large part of the station. No one knew who placed it there, but it was clear someone wanted to stop the summit. Nyla was brought to the command center. She sat quietly in her hovered chair while officers watched her. Some looked at her with fear, others with interest. Captain Lane stepped forward. "Princess Nyla, how did you know?" "The air around that place was sharp and broken," Nyla said. "Motions do not hide from me. Hate and fear leave a mark. I felt it growing in that place." Some of the officers whispered to each other. One of them spoke loudly. "She might be part of it." "How do we know she didn't plan this?" Alex stood next to Nyla. "She risked nothing. She told me because she wanted to help. Without her, we would all be dead." Captain Lane looked at both of them. She was silent for a long time. Then she said, "You may return to your room, princess, but we will speak again." Alex took Nyla back. In the lift, he looked at her and said, "You saved lives today." "I only did what I could," she said. "I did not want anyone to be hurt." "It will still doubt you," Alex said. "I know," she said. "But truth needs no praise. It stands on its own." When they reached her room, Nyla looked tired. Alex helped her into her chair by the window. "Do you think they will listen now?" she asked. "Some will," he said. "Some won't. But this is a start." She turned her face to the stars. "And I will keep speaking, even if my voice is small." The news of the bomb spread across the station. Delegates from other planets heard about the warning and the discovery. Some began to ask about the Valeri princess. They wanted to know more about the one who saw without eyes. Nyla's name, once forgotten, started to rise in quiet talks. Some still laughed. Others stayed silent, but a few began to listen. And far above, beyond the cold walls of the station, the stars watched in silence. Something had changed. The bond between a human and an alien princess had just saved them all. The next day, the council leaders met in the main hall of Unity Ring. The bomb incident had changed everything. People now looked at the Peace Summit with new eyes. They knew someone wanted to destroy the meeting, and that meant trust was broken. Some members of the council said the summit should end. Others said they should find who was behind the bomb. But one voice stood out. Alex Monroe stood before the council and asked to speak. Many of them did not know him. Some thought he was just a translator, but others had heard what he did. They gave him a chance. Alex stepped forward. "I am not a leader or a soldier. I am just a man who listened. The person who found the bomb is not here in this room. She was left out because people thought she had no value. But she saved your lives." The room became quiet. No one interrupted. "Her name is Nyla. She is a Valeri princess. She is blind and cannot walk like we do. But she sees the truth better than all of us. She felt the danger. She told me where to find it. She warned us when no one else did." Some delegates whispered to each other. One of them stood up. It was from the Talon species. "You say this princess has power? Then why has she never spoken before? Why do her own people hide her?" Alex looked at him. "Because they fear what they don't understand. Like many of us do. That does not make her wrong. That makes us blind." Another voice rose. It was from the Valeri group. A tall man in deep blue clothes spoke. "She is not trained in our ways. She was never meant to speak for us. Her abilities are untested." Alex turned toward him. "Her ability just saved hundreds of lives. If that is not enough, then what is?" The council leader, a calm woman with silver skin named Chairwoman Ilar, raised her hand. "We will hear from Princess Nyla directly." Guards brought Nyla to the main hall. She moved slowly in her hover chair, her hands folded in her lap. She did not seem afraid. Her head stayed high. When she reached the center, the chair stopped. The room was silent. Many stared at her, some with doubt, some with curiosity. Chairwoman Ilar spoke. "Princess Nyla, You have the right to speak before this council. We ask only for truth. Nyla turned her head slightly. She faced the sound of the voice. Thank you. I do not see as you do. But I feel the world in ways most cannot. The bomb that was placed here gave off pain. It's fear, rage. These feelings are not weak. They're heavy and sharp. They leave a mark. I felt that mark. She paused, then continued. I was told my gift is not useful. I was told I should stay silent. But I believe truth must speak, even when the world does not want to hear it. I do not ask for honor. I ask only for peace to be real, not just spoken. Her voice was calm but strong. Her words reached every corner of the room. Some delegates lowered their eyes. Others nodded slowly. Chairwoman Elar looked at the others. Do any here wish to speak against what she has said? No one stood. No one spoke. Then I asked the council to give Princess Nyla full rights to speak and vote in the summit as a true member of her people. The vote was taken. Result was clear. Nyla was accepted. After the meeting, Alex walked beside her. You did it? He said. No, she said. We did it. Back in her room, Nyla sat by the window again. But now, something was different. She was no longer hidden. She had a place. Her voice had been heard. Outside, on the station screens, a message was shown. It told the story of how the summit was saved. It spoke of the warning, and it named the one who gave it. Princess Nyla of Valeri. And in quiet rooms across the station, others began to speak of her. Not as a weak guest, but as someone who changed everything. The days to come, more dangers would rise. But now, the station had two hearts of strength. One human who believed. One alien who saw without eyes. Together, they were just beginning to shape a new future. After the meeting, Nyla became a part of the Peace Summit. She now sat with the other leaders, her voice heard in every discussion. Some still looked at her with doubt, but others started to listen. She spoke little, but when she did, her words had meaning. People noticed her calm way and how she always said what was true. Alex kept visiting her every day. They spent their free time together, talking and sharing ideas. Nyla taught Alex about the Valeri way of life. She told him stories of her world, where music and sound were more important than sight. Her people used vibration and feeling to tell history. Songs were used instead of books. She sang one of those songs to Alex one day. It was soft and deep. The notes were slow and warm. When the song ended, Alex felt something strange. It was like he had seen a picture in his mind, even though there were no images. He felt peace and sadness at the same time. What was that song about? He asked. It was the story of our first meeting with another world, Nyla said. It speaks of fear, trust, and the first word shared. He nodded slowly. It felt real, like I was there. That is the power of sound, she said. It carries memory. Alex wanted to share something too. He brought her a book of poems from Earth. He read to her each evening. She listened with care and often asked questions. She liked the poems about the sea and the stars. One poem spoke about silence and how it holds meaning. Nyla said that was her favorite. They also talked about feelings. Nyla explained how she sensed emotion through the air. She said Alex's feelings were always clear. It was honest, open, and full of light. One evening she asked, "Why do humans not trust what they feel?" Alex thought for a moment. Maybe because feelings can change, and sometimes they hurt. But truth is often inside the feeling, she said. Even pain shows what matters. He smiled. Oh, you always make things clear. Their connection grew stronger. They started to understand each other without many words. Sometimes they just sat in silence and it felt enough. Nyla told him something else. She said that human emotion and Valeri vibration had a strange link. When a human spoke with deep feeling, she could hear it like a tone. Each person had a different tone. Alex's tone, she said, was strong and steady, like the song of deep water. We could build something with that, she said one day. Build what? He asked. A message. A signal that joins both our ways. A song made from human emotion and Valeri sound. A harmony. Alex was surprised but excited. Would others hear it if we do it right? She said. They will feel it. It could speak peace without words. So they began to work. Nyla would hum tones, and Alex would read poems or speak with feeling. They recorded their voices, matched sounds, and mixed patterns. It was not easy. Many times, it did not work. But they kept trying. Days passed. Then one evening, the room filled with a sound that made both of them sit still. It was the sound they had been trying to find. A soft, deep tone that felt like truth. They listened to it over and over. It made Nyla cry. Not from sadness, but from something deeper. "This is what peace sounds like," she said. "Then we need to share it," Alex said. They sent the recording to Chairwoman Elar with a short message. A voice of peace from both worlds. Later, Elar called them to the summit hall. She played the sound for the council. At first, no one spoke. But slowly, some delegates closed their eyes. Others breathed deeply. The sound touched them in ways they could not explain. After the sound ended, the room stayed silent for a long time. Chairwoman Ilar looked at Nyla and Alex. "You may have done something very important." Outside the summit hall, people began to hear the sound. It spread through the station. It was played in the gardens, in the halls, even in sleeping rooms. Many did not know where it came from, but they felt calm when they heard it. The signal they made was not just sound. It was a bridge, and it had only just begun to reach hearts across the stars. The sound created by Nyla and Alex continued to spread across the station. More people listened to it every day. Even those who had once ignored Nyla began to speak of her with respect. Some called her the voice of peace. Others said she had changed the way they saw the Valeri, but not everyone was happy. A small group inside the Valeri delegation met in secret. They were angry that Nyla had become the center of attention. They believed she was a danger to tradition. They did not like how humans and other species now listened to her. In their minds, a blind and disabled princess had no right to speak for their people. They made a plan. They would send a message back to their homeworld. They would ask for her to be removed and brought home, quietly, without causing trouble. One of them, a tall man named Varen, spoke to the group. "She brings shame to our name. She was never trained. She was never meant to lead." "But the humans trust her," said another. "Then we must act before she spreads more ideas," Varen said. At the same time, Alex had a strange feeling. He noticed how some Valeri officers stopped looking at Nyla with respect. Their faces were cold. Their words were few. He told Nyla what he felt. "They want to take you away," he said. "I know," Nyla said. "I can feel it. They move with fear, and fear often leads to harm." That night, Alex stayed outside her room, sat near the door, watching the hall. In the quiet, he heard soft steps. He stood up and saw 2 Valeri guards coming his way. "We are here for the princess," one of them said. "Orders from home. She is not leaving," Alex said. "Step aside," the guard said. Alex pressed the alarm on his wrist device and shouted, "Security." Now, the guards rushed toward him. He tried to stop them, but was pushed to the ground. Before they could open the door, the station alarm rang. Red lights flashed. Security officers arrived and surrounded the Valeri guards. Captain Lane appeared, angry and sharp. "Who gave you the order?" she asked. The guard said nothing. Nyla came out of her room, calm and quiet. "They were sent by fear," she said. But fear will not decide my path." She looked at Captain Lane. "Please, I need your help. Let me speak to everyone. Let me tell the truth." The next day, the main hall was full. All the delegates came, even those who had stayed silent before. Nyla was brought to the center of the room. Alex stood beside her. He had a small device that played the sound they had created. The deep, soft tone filled the room. When it ended, Nyla spoke. "This sound is not just from me. It is from both of us. From human heart and Valeri's soul. It was made with trust. It was made with hope." She paused and faced the Valeri side. "Some of you fear me. You fear that I am different. You fear change. But I do not bring harm. I bring another way to understand." She looked around the hall. "We speak of peace, but peace is not made by words alone. Peace is made when we listen. Truly listen." Alex stepped forward. "When I first met Nyla, no one cared about her voice. Now, you all have heard it. You know it is real, We must not let fear stop what we have started. A silent moment passed. Then Chairwoman Elar stood. This message must be shared across all worlds. Let every planet hear the sound of peace. Let every leader know who helped create it. The council agreed. The signal would be sent to every member planet. That night, as stars moved outside the station windows, Nyla and Alex sat together in the quiet. They tried to silence you, Alex said. But truth has its own voice, Nyla said. Do you think this is the end? He asked. She shook her head. No, this is the beginning. And as the station lights dimmed, the sound of peace echoed once more through the halls, reaching places far beyond the stars. The message created by Nyla and Alex traveled from planet to planet. Ships carried the sound to distant systems. Screens on space stations played it every hour. People stopped to listen. Children asked what it meant. Old leaders closed their eyes and stayed silent. Something deep inside them moved. Many said they had never heard anything like it. Some cried, others smiled. The message did not use words, it used feeling. It reached the parts of the heart that words often missed. Back on Unity Ring, things had changed. Nyla was no longer a quiet guest. She had become a symbol. She was now the cultural ambassador for the Valeri. She was chosen by a new group of Valeri leaders who saw her value. They said she had brought honor to their people. Lex was honored by the Human Alliance. He received a medal for bravery, but he did not care about the medal. He was happy that people now listened to Nyla. That was enough for him. One day, Nyla and Alex stood together in the main garden of Unity Ring. Plants from many worlds grew there. The air was warm and full of soft lights. A small crowd gathered. A new interworld peace council was about to be formed. Chairwoman Elar stood at the front. She raised her hand and said, "Today we begin something new. We are building a council not of power, but of feeling. Not of fear, but of understanding. And we thank two beings who showed us the way." She turned to Nyla and Alex. "You prove that peace is not only made by weapons or rules, it is made when hearts speak to each other." The crowd clapped. Some even cheered. Nyla said nothing. She simply nodded her head and placed her hand over her heart. Her eyes were closed, but her face was full of light. Later that night, Nyla and Alex sat near the window in her room. They looked out at the stars. Ships moved in the distance like slow lights. "You remember the first day we met?" Alex asked. Nyla said, "You brought me food and spoke kindly. It was the first time someone looked at me without fear or shame." "You changed me," Alex said. "You made me see things in a new way." "You listened," Nyla said. "That was the first key. You listened when no one else did." There was a long silence. Then Alex asked, "What now?" Nyla turned her face to the stars. "Now we help others listen to. Not just leaders, but everyone." How? Right. By visiting other worlds. By sharing the message. By showing them what connection really means. The next day, Unity Ring sent out a new mission. A small team, led by Nyla and Alex, would travel to different planets. They would meet people from many species. They would share the sound. They would teach the ways of peace. The ship was not large. It was simple, quiet, and fast. Its name was Harmony. It carried few weapons, but many recordings. Music, poems, messages from children, and voices of those who had once been silent. Before the ship left, many came to say goodbye. Chairwoman Ilar gave Nyla a silver pendant. "It holds nothing," she said, "but it reminds us of what you gave us." Alex hugged Captain Lane. "Keep the station safe," he said. "I will," she replied. "You keep the stars safe." As the ship moved away from Unity Ring, Nyla sat in her chair near the front window. Alex sat beside her. They watched the stars grow larger. "Are you ready?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "The stars are waiting." And so they went. A human and a Valeri. Once strangers, now partners. They carried no weapons, no army, and no command. They carried only sound and truth, and across the galaxy, their voices would be heard. Because in a world full of noise, they had found something rare, a connection. And that connection was the start of something greater than war, greater than fear. It was the beginning of true peace. The stars watched, the silence listened, and the journey continued.